Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing good, Jay Hood. How you doing?
We're doing great. Are you kidding me? Football. It starts tonight.
Well, for me, it started last Friday night when I got to watch my high school beat Jay Hilgenberg's high school at Joliet Memorial Stadium. So, and then Notre Dame beat Texas A&M, Jerry Fontenot's old college. So I'm ready to roll, man. Let's get this thing underway.
Joliet Catholic. Have they ever had a good team?
Listen, we just stick with tradition. We run the ball effectively, and we make the other team punt.
Yeah, the season ticket package there is pretty pricey. I've tried to get in there.
Didn't you win the state title when you were playing?
All 4 years.
No, wait a minute.
All 4 years,
You
brother?
won 4 straight state titles?
We only lost one game on the varsity level in my 4 years of high school.
Who beat you?
Marion Catholic on a rainy Saturday afternoon.
While Waddle was the number 1 team in the USA Today power rankings, they went to the playoffs and they lost. I think he told me 7-0. Kirk Herbstreit was the backup quarterback as a freshman on the other team, like Centerville, Ohio. It still haunts Waddle. He said it's the worst loss of his life.
Yeah, I'm a little haunted by his high school as well because Jerry Faust came to be the head coach at Notre Dame when I was there, and that's where Waddle went to high school. I played with a lot of good players from his high school at Notre Dame, but I don't think Jerry Faust he's a good man. He's a good man, but I don't think he was the right choice for Notre Dame at that point.
Yeah, high school coach coming in to coach the vaunted Irish.
Yeah, it's amazing, right? Amazing times. Here we go. It starts at 7 a.m., our coverage on Sunday as we get ready for the Bears and the Titans. Give us one thing, Tom, the one thing you're looking forward to seeing for this Bears team.
One thing I'm looking at is red zone reality for Caleb. Understand how quickly the windows open and close, and don't feel that you have to get rid of the ball into such a tight window that you become susceptible to giving it away. And then another thing is when the Bears are on their side of the 50, if you got a 3rd and 9 or 3rd and long, don't be afraid to punt. Because with Torrey Taylor, he is such a good weapon that rather than subject yourself to giving the ball away inside the opponent's territory, get rid of it and punt and then put your defense on the field. So, but the red zone reality and the timing of that portion of the field is different than the rest of the field.
In terms of watching this team play over the preseason and training camp, you see every snap, whether you're there, and most of the time you are. I believe you guys said this to Hoodie yesterday. If you come out and you throw the ball 45 times or more, I think they're going home with a loss. I believe they got to come out and the game plan has got to be, we're establishing DeAndre Swift. He's going to run the football. And then when he needs a blow, we're going to get Khalil Herbert in there and he's going to run the football. And then we could play Caleb off of that. Or do you believe the way to beat the Titans is through the air?
No, I agree with you, Cap, 100%. You know, the running game has always got this offense going. If you want to go back to the 80s or present day, they're one of the best in the league. And I think DeAndre Swift is the key ingredient to this offense and how it moves up and down the field. He's a great outlet receiver. He catches screens really well. He's a good interior vision runner. But if you can incorporate him and make the defense a little bit more susceptible to line of scrimmage responsibilities, then you start talking about opening up your chances downfield. So I think it is run game first, and then, take advantage of your downfield opportunities.
Tom Thayer with us, brought to you by Village of Rosemont on the Cap and J Hood Morning Show. So, Tom, you told us during preseason that it was an incomplete grade for you when it comes to the offensive line. Well, the preseason's over, and it's going to start on Sunday. So coming into this game and this season, what's your letter grade and your confidence in the offensive line?
I'm going to give you a solid C right now. And as a C, but with the curve and all that, I could probably give you a B- at the end of Sunday if they're able to control Tavondre Sweat in the middle, 6'4", 366. Jeffrey Simmons is one of the best defensive tackles in the league, and he's healthy now that Aaron Donald is no longer in the league. And Denard, the defensive coordinator, he's creative, man. He's going to bring blitzes that are going to outnumber the amount of blockers that the Bears have available to them either in the middle, to the right, or the left. So if the offensive line can get that running game going like Cap wants, and then when it becomes down to the obvious second long, third and long, and if they can provide the realistic amount of protection time for Caleb, then the offensive line has a chance to upgrade their C that I'm giving them before the season starts.
So a year ago on opening day, I tuned into the station, first broadcast with us as the home of the Bears. I hear Sylvie's voice, and he's like, "It's electric in here." And everyone's excited. The Packers are rolling in. Jordan Love is not Jordan Love yet. He's going to become that, obviously. And then I was nervous about that game. Hoodie was as well. All week long, I'm like, I don't like this matchup. I don't feel real good about where we're at as a football team. And they lose 38-20. Now, 12 months later, the hype is even more out of control. But I like the matchup, and I like the football team. Please compare and contrast for me a year ago to now.
Compare and contrast, when you talk about the electricity inside the stadium, and I talked about it in the broadcast of the game, I was disappointed by seeing all these Green Bay jerseys filtering into the stadium before I saw Bears colors coming in. And I'm talking to Jeff and talking to guys on the sideline going, what the hell are we looking at here? And because of the way that tickets can be bought and sold now, and season ticket holders are trying to make money for the bigger games, Green Bay is willing to drive down here for the day and buy tickets. I don't expect to see that in the stands come Sunday. I expect to see an overwhelming amount of blue and orange, and these guys that once the stadium opens and they start filtering down to the lower bowl, that is our Bears fans. It's not, Tennessee Titan. I know it's an 8-hour drive, but last year I was super disappointed in the amount of Green Bay color. This year, I want to be not surprised, but I want to be impressed by the amount of Bear blue and orange.
Matt Eberflus yesterday in his press conference talked about the importance of starting fast.
I think it's always important. If you do just look at the numbers, look at who makes it to the postseason, they start fast. I know I showed that to the guys in the spring. They were at least 2-2. Most were 3-1, and a couple were 4-0 in the NFC. So we did talk about that. The guys understand how important it is to start fast.
So your question, Cap, talking about confidence in week one versus last year.
Yeah, just what we see on the grass, and we were healthier, much healthier throughout the course of training camp. Last year we had dealt with a bunch of injuries, a bunch of guys out at certain key spots. So I think that hurt the continuity of the group. I know we lost a couple guys to injury early on in the season as well, but just more continuity, better competition because the roster's better. I think that's really helped us in the skill positions, at the line position, the quarterback, all positions. So
Matt Eberflus, the head coach for the Bears.
Yeah, and listening to him and talk about, yes, they're healthier, and yes, they have more talent here. I don't think that there's really an injury that I'm concerned about. Are you, Tom?
I am not. I think they have a healthy group of guys coming into the stadium on Sunday. But, my question, though, is when you talk about starting fast, are you talking about the big picture of within those first 4 games, try to come out of that 3-1? Or are you talking about starting fast and with the first half, make sure you jump on your opponent so you can get the lead? That's kind of a double-edged sword to me, because last year when you talk about that Green Bay game, I really wasn't impressed by the initial effort coming out of the locker room, and the excitement didn't match the electricity in the stadium. So I need to see the stadium filled with an electricity because it's being supported by the effort on the field. And if that happens, then I'm encouraged by that starting fast. If the other starting fast, let's readdress this after 4 games and see where we're at.
Under Brian Callahan and the Tennessee Titans, Tom, is there anything that stands out most to you about Tennessee that the Bears should be wary of?
Like I talked about, their willingness to blitz from a lot of different levels. I saw some blitzes in the preseason where they put a number of bodies to the right-hand side of the offense, and then they blitzed the second-level linebacker backed up by a third-level safety. So now you have to realize, okay, that third-level linebacker is the responsibility of one of the offensive linemen. that third level line safety, a lot of time is responsibility of the quarterback, or they're going to say you got to keep a back into the backfield. Then you have one less receiver. So I am concerned about their multiple level blitzers against a rookie quarterback early in the season. And then, like I was saying yesterday, I'm not a big fan of nepotism in the NFL because I don't like to see a head coach that hires half of his family members at part of the staff. However, when you look at Brian Callahan, the most important hire he made this year is hiring Bill Callahan, his dad, because he's one of the better offensive line coaches in the National Football League. He's got a big resume. He's got a lot of experience. So if you need a sounding board as a first-time head coach, it's nice to be able to go back to one of the most important position coaches on the field and being able to have a sounding board that's going to tell you the truth.
In terms of watching the game on Sunday, and I'll have the sound up with you and Jeff because it's just so good. Watching that game, though, I'll have the big screen monitor going. At the end of one quarter, what will make you happy other than the Bears having a 28-point lead? What would make you happy if you watch something, you go, that happened, I'm in a good place, or that didn't happen, I'm concerned?
Nate Davis against Jeffrey Simmons, because here's a guy that's a former Tennessee Titan. Then they both know each other. And if you know the pros and cons of each player, who's getting the better of each other? Because when you talk about Jeffrey Simmons, the closest player to a quarterback is that defensive tackle position. So now if they put Nate in a position to succeed, they have multiple formations, a lot of different types of protections, and he's winning the battle, I'm going to be a lot more encouraged. If I see Caleb running for his life, or the running game, the interior of the running game being shut down because of, then I'm going to have some concerns. And I know it's not like, it's not DJ or Keenan or Cole or DeAndre, but when you talk about the development of a young quarterback, a first-time starter in the NFL, and a guy that's going to finally realize the actual speed of the game for the first time in his professional life on Sunday, that's a battle that is going to play an important role in the success of the offense.
All right, let's go back, Tom. You got to do this every week with us. So Bears against the Houston Oilers, now Tennessee Titans, but back then Houston Oilers. October 12th, 1986, Bears win that game 20-7, and the Bears are 6-0. What do you recall against the Houston Oilers?
That's the one we played in Chicago, right?
Correct.
All right, they had a really good defensive lineman. I think his name was Ray Childers. Actually, one of my football cards is from that game, and that's at blocking him. And my whole remembrances of most of these games is the type of fronts that we are facing. Because I can go back. We opened up with Cleveland one year, the first game of the year, and I gave up a sack to Sam Clancy. And it's haunted me ever since because I was going, oh, my God, I'm on pace to give up 16 sacks this season. And I didn't give up another one for a long period. But I just remember getting ready to play against Childers because he was a really good, dominant defensive lineman at that time. And because we didn't play him that often, you really don't have a book on him. It's about you learn a little bit something every down and every series.
So that is Jim McMahon against Warren Moon cap in that game. So Jimmy, 13 for 33, good for 209 yards, had an interception, had a sack. Walter ran for 76 yards in 22 attempts. And, of course, the defense, there's 5 sacks in that game. They got to Moon 5 times. So a 27 win for the Chicago Bear.
Yeah, Ray Childress played at Texas A&M and played for the Oilers and the Dallas Cowboys. He's 61 years of age right now.
Yeah, I'm 63, and so we are kind of at the same time. I remember him coming out of college, and he had a really good career. He's a really good athlete, a good football player. A lot of similarities to a guy like Dan Hampton, really long and was a good athlete.
Yeah, he says here in his bio, 6'6", 272. Man, if I could have faced Thayer, I would have had more than 76 and a half sacks.
Right.
Tommy, as always, we appreciate it, man. Have a great call.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Hey,
Thanks for
I'll see
having
you
me.
tonight.
Yes, sir. I'll see you.
Beach volleyball. Bring your A game.
I always bring